Hey guys, Turtle here, and today I will be releasing my second Steve rig. So with my new Steve rig, I've taken a different approach than a lot of other animators and render makers out there. They usually pack their rigs with tons of features and millions of controllers, but I really want to keep mine very simple and easy to use. So this is what I've came up with. So let's get started by looking at some of the user data. And at the top we can turn the new control panel on or off. There are a lot more new controllers, and I'll get into some of that stuff later. And next we can turn the controllers on or off, which is good for if you want to do a hardware preview or anything like that. And then we can also turn the pulls on or off, as you can see. And the arms can be PSR reset so that they're like this. And then the control panels are, or the pulls are on the side. And then we have the viewport quality, which will basically change the subdivision surface. So we have low, medium, and high for really good computers. Medium usually works for me. And we have the skin, of course, that's pretty self-explanatory. We can now change the gender, and the female model has been improved significantly. And we also can change the age, and then scale that here. Of course, you can also scale the adult model as well. So next we have the bend type. So we have smooth bends at first, or by default, as you can see, with ankle feet. And we could change that to rigid bends, like so. And we could also change the fancy feet to original, which is what I'm calling it. And then the ankle feet, as you can see. So next, if we switch back to the female model and go into the female tab, there are a few options here. We have the arm and legs taper. We can change the breast size and the hips bulge. And armor is also going to be included in this version. That's a new feature. So we have the helmet, chest plate, leggings, and boots, like so. And these all work with the bends and everything. All works nicely. And we can also change the type of leather, or the type of armor. Going back into the control panel, I'll start with the head up here. And this little star is new. It allows us to change the facial features and customize them. So we can turn them on or off entirely. And in the eyebrows, let me just change this back to male. And in the eyebrows, we can change them to sharp. I'll just zoom in here. Smooth or unibrow, which is new. And if we just turn on the manual eyebrow controllers, we have new controllers here. And also, by switching it to the unibrow, we have different controls up here, which would normally control the eyebrows, but they control the unibrow. So that's that. And then we have the scale, X, Y, and Z. And this works with the eyebrows as well. And as you can see, the controllers have switched back to the eyebrow controllers. In the pupil type, we can change them to smooth, sharp, or the cubed reflections, as I had in my last rig. We have double pupils, and you can change the second color here. And then we have the manual eye controllers, which will allow you to deform the eye to any shape you want. And then down here in the mouth settings, we have the mouth shape, and if I just open this, you'll see that at first it is square. And by changing the mouth shape, we can change it to a different type of mouth, as you can see. So that's very nice. We can also add dimples, which are pretty simple. And then we have the manual mouth controllers as well, which will allow you to manually deform the mouth. And then lastly we have the teeth type, so we can have sharp teeth, smooth teeth, and the space teeth, which are by default. And going back to the control panel, we have the mouth controller that you've already seen. We have the expression controller here, and we now have the position controller, which will allow you to move the mouth around the face. And then we also have the teeth controllers here, and the one on the right works the same as the one on the left, or it's like opposite, so that you can select them both and move the teeth together, as you can see. So going up, we have the eye section, so this will change the scale of it. So up here we have the eye expressions controllers, and this will change the top expression and the up and down thing. I don't know. But one thing I should note is that you're going to want a blank face mesh for the head so it doesn't deform, and then just extrude the second layer. And then these will control the bottom, the same thing for the right. And if you use these together, it will, I don't know, one of them is reversed so that it goes towards the middle, like that. And then you can easily create nice expressions. And then we have the pupil controller, which is very self-explanatory. And going to the top, I'll go over these special controllers later, but right now we have the eyebrow controllers, and they work the same way. And these are for the expression, so expression and the thing. I don't know what to call it, but yeah. So you can create cool expressions using all four of these together. And then these purple controllers over here are for the mouth, which are kind of extra controllers I just put up there. So this one's for the jaw tilt, and this one is for the squash and stretch. And then we have this blue controller on the left, which when brought up, you'll see a lot of the controllers is up here, and now you just have this one controller in the middle. And this is for the easy animation facial expressions controller thing. This will basically automate all the expression controllers, and you can easily create head movements and expressions without having to actually animate it. So I think that's a pretty cool feature, definitely something I'll be using. And then of course you can also use the menu controllers if you need to tweak something. So very useful. So going on to some of the new body parts and everything. We already have the legs, which I've showed you, and these work nicely. Nice squash and stretch. We have the waist controller, as usual. And if you look inside and just hover over the leg, you'll see this kind of controller, and this is in all the limbs. And this will basically allow you to control that limb individually. So I like it how it's nice and hidden, and it's easy to select because all the body parts are locked. And then this controller under here, which is new, will control the, I don't know, this will control the hip here. So pretty nice. And then here we have the new body, and this body is completely new, and it is not weighted anymore. No part of the rig is weighted at all. No texturing, no weighting, no nothing, just extruding. And I will go over that in a little bit. So that's pretty nice. And then we have the limb controller again, and the arm controller over here with the same squash and stretch. So very nice. And then we have the wrist controller, which works the same way, almost the same way as my old wrists. So nice again. And then we also have now smooth tools and a new tool manager here. So we can just pick the tool we want, and they're all smooth. I'll just go through them all real quick, as you can see. Nice and smooth. And then you can change the tool type as well. So one feature I do like about this is that you do not have to have the same tool in each hand, and or the texture. You can change the textures and the tools for each hand. So pretty easy but useful feature. And then the tools also work with the wrists, so that's a nice feature as well. And then we also have the bow. So this must be set to none for the bow to come up. And as you can see, we have the bow, and I'm just gonna hide the arm if we unlock the body parts layer, just to showcase the bow. And as you can see, we have the bow, which is the normal bow, and it'll move like this. We have the bow with an arrow, which is not the 3D arrow, it's just the 2D arrow from Minecraft. And then we have the realistic bow, which has a nice realistic draw, like that. And that's definitely something I'll probably be using in my animations. So very nice. And while I have the body parts unlocked, I will quickly go over extruding. So if I just select the arm and go into polygon mode, and if I hit UL to select all these polygons here, and I might need to hide the body to select these over here. And then if I just go right click, hit smooth shift, and do something like 1, first setting the angle to 180, you'll see that it's all textured. It does not have to be weighted at all. And if you want to get rid of this, just double click over that, hit MR and drag over to the right, and you'll get this. And then to add cuts, just hit K, go to loop selection, and something like 87.5 will work. And I went over cutting in my last tutorial for adding smooth edges, and then you want to add some here because these kind of get spread out, so you just want to add those. I'm just going to eyeball them. And you will have smooth edges. So very nice and clean, and I think it's a nice feature that you don't have to texture or weight, which is very useful. And the last thing is the neck controller, which is pretty simple. So that is pretty much everything in this rig. If you have a question about something I might have missed or didn't cover, just let me know. And the rig will be able to download in the description, and it will cost $10. Forgot to mention that, but yeah. Enjoy.